10% of all the new cars sold in Iowa come from the Carl Auto Group. Our neighbors trust us to have the largest selection and the highest standards. To our current customers, thank you. And to our future customers, see for yourself why Carl drives Iowa.
Your dealer for life, it's the Carl way.
Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag drone technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic, and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans.
And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field.
Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum, from the Wild Rose Casino Studio. It's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne, on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
It's time!
What is up? It is the 13th of April, 2025. Chris Williams and Brent Blum with you here on Masters Sunday. Early recording today. Blum is a golf junkie. I have to be respectful to him.
Thank you.
He's not asking me to do shows during the Indy 500. I'm not going to make him do a show in the middle of the final round of the Masters.
Especially when Rory's involved. Rory's fascinating to me.
I love Rory McIlroy.
Yeah. I think he's a good character.
That's what golf is. It's all about these characters.
Yeah, him and DeChambeau. I mean, it's going to be fun. For a golf nerd like me, this is going to be fun. So, see how it goes. Either
really,
Rory's going to have a great day, or he's going to have a massive collapse, and it'll be a story either way.
Did you read the Shipduck book,
yes.
The Live and Let Die, or Let Die?
Yes.
And, like, really the two central characters of that whole thing. These two guys.
Golf has way more drama than anybody realizes. It's almost like middle school in a lot of ways. It's
kind of like the Portal.
Kind of like the Portal with the egos and the money. And yes. It's a nice distraction for me, honestly.
Well, I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, so am I.
That was really convenient to be gone last Sunday. The whole sky was falling.
FYI, it was not a vacation. It was a networking conference.
Yeah, okay.
To hopefully find more NIL supporters.
Okay. Keep telling yourself what you want.
I might have gotten a little bit of a tan, though. I mean, which is, for me, that goes a long way.
Yeah, it was a weird show thanks to Rob Gray for
I listened to it.
Hitting.
Well done. Yeah.
It actually worked out because Rob and I thought we had great perspective on everything that was happening. Just it was different. And
enjoyed the mailbag episode as well for you. That was
Thank you. I'm going to do another one of those because I have so many of these questions to get to, and I didn't have enough time on Wednesday to do them all. Thanks to Aiden for pinch hitting on Wednesday. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Mechdyne, the Mechdyne Corporation, enabling discovery. That is spelled MECHDYNE.com. If you are an engineer or really any college student that's graduating this May, you should go to their job site and see if there's anything available to you. Pour yourself a nice tall glass of Cody Road bourbon here as we... not a lot to get to as far as news go today. It's been a fairly quiet few days, which has been really kind of nice. We are going to run down the landscape of everything from the last week. We will also, I want to talk about this Tennessee situation because I think it has far-reaching implications across college athletics.
And it ties directly into the basketball portal, by the way. Which
it does. So we are going to do all of that. Before we get into the Tennessee thing, from your perspective, Bloom, so Jefferson's back. The basketball roster seems quite stable. Nothing's done, of course, but it seems quite stable now. And I guess the question will be is if they can figure out a way to add anyone else. I've done reporting on this to our premium subscribers, so they are in the loop with where Iowa State is. But as we've kind of said since day one, and you let me know if I'm saying anything incorrect.
Sure.
But it's kind of like there's only so much money and there's only so much you can spend, and you choose to spend it how you wish. This is different school to school, and it kind of feels like to me Iowa State is if they're not out of money, it's close, and now you just got to wait and see how the market plays out, because right now you're buying the stock at the 52-week high, maybe the all-time high.
I hope so. If it goes any higher,
but that's certainly what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Like anything, I'm hearing numbers of what some of these players are getting around the country, and they're just average players, and it's truly mind-boggling. And I'm just like, this seems like a bad time to buy. So, like for me, if I'm an Iowa State basketball fan and you're wanting to make another portal edition, wait this thing out and see if the market settles down a little. That's the feeling I've got, but I truly don't know exactly. I could see them just being like, we're done as well.
It's super difficult right now to be the whole college athletics as a whole. I don't think there's been a more stressful time for everybody. And that includes literally everybody. And, you know, we've kind of had a front row seat to it, but man, nobody's loving life right now other than maybe the agents. And even the players are stressed out because it's like, what do you do? Like, this is life-changing money for a lot of them. And the numbers you've heard are true. Like, it's 100% true. See, there are players, and it's been reported, like JT Toppin at Texas Tech getting $4 million. And because of that, they almost had to make a choice. And Texas Tech's got cash, right? Darren Williams hears that. He's like, well, I'm out.
I'm out.
So... like this
you
is
can't
the
pay
problem.
them all $4 million.
And so right. I mean, honestly, yeah. I'll just be truthful. We're budgeted out on the men's basketball side. Like, but we can still fundraise, and that's literally what I'm trying to do right now. So, WeWillCollective.com, like 100%, we could still use it. Like, we're not done, but also we have to be responsible and live up to our commitments to the current players as well. And I think that's part of the deal. But it ramped up really fast. Because there are no real enforcement mechanisms here. And so you can have a verbal agreement with a player, and then that player could hear what his buddy's getting somewhere else, and all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a second.
This guy at Seton Hall got this.
Yeah, and they see it too. And honestly, it's not done yet. I won't be comfortable till it's April 25th or 26th or whatever day that is, because you don't know where this is going. And then I would encourage everybody, if you get a chance, go to Yahoo Sports and read the Ross Dellinger piece from this morning. It really
I haven't seen this. Okay.
It really explains how we got here, but potentially what's on the horizon and could contain all this stuff. And I would say it's exactly what college athletic administrators want. Here's the lowdown. Essentially, there's this House settlement case that may go through as soon as this week. Once that happens, any money you spend from a collective will count against your cap going forward. There is going to be, hopefully, a cap in place. Now, will some people try and get around it? Of course, and this is where the second part of this equation is. So schools will have $21 million between all of their sports to spend on revenue sharing through the school. The goal would be then to have a clearinghouse, a Deloitte, who is an auditing firm, that will legislate. And again, I know there's some complications here.
I'm sorry.
I know you're laughing.
It's all the same actors. It's all the same people.
But just
right,
I just want to break it down of where the hope is.
I'm sorry. I need to quit being so.
I get it. But,
I'm sorry. That's on me.
The hope is.
You said Deloitte, and I'm just like, okay,
yeah.
Here we go.
But so essentially, any money over and above that cap, through legit NIL has to have legit NIL purpose and fair market value, and will have to be submitted through this auditing firm that will give the yay or the nay. So essentially,
where is this clearinghouse located?
It's being formed right now.
Okay.
It is literally the Power Four conferences are all. This is outside the NCAA, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So this is a new entity. Like the NCAA
Well,
is
that's encouraging.
Yes, the NCAA is getting taken out of this because everyone realizes they don't do.
That's encouraging.
Jack.
That's
they
a
don't do
good
jack
sign.
and squat. And so these Power Four commissioners are also like, we will not. Like I've been on calls with your Mark where it's like, you will not go over the cap. You will not, because they are trying to put some parameters in place to prevent what's going on the last 6 months because it's gotten totally out of control. And so there will be enforcement. Now, again, will there be challenges to that? Yes, but here's the second part. Along with this, the four commissioners were in Washington, D.C. this week, and we are getting pretty close to a bipartisan bill that will give the college sports an antitrust exemption. What does that mean? Potentially no more lawsuits. Because we all know this will only last as long as the next lawsuit and injunction, all this stuff. So what we're trying to do in college sports, meaning the commissioners, is they're trying to get this House settlement passed. That's number one. Could have happened this week. Then they will go to Congress and try to get a bill processed within the next 3 to 4 months that will essentially give college sports an exemption from lawsuits from everybody else here. And it sounds like, and again, this is not a political statement, it sounds like the current administration is going to come in with the "We saved college sports" mantra.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just telling you. And so
I
everyone's
can
like,
see that,
how is it going to slow down? I think it actually could. I would say
it will.
I think
just because we are in a bubble, and however this thing bursts, like whatever. But there's no way that this is sustainable, especially when you're going. All these schools are going to the same like 5 rich people. They're not going to keep throwing their money away.
It's going to burst one way or another. But I think the safest bet for college sports and the traditionalists, I'll call them the traditionalists, is to get this settlement passed. That's number one. Step 2 is get a bill passed by Congress, and it's bipartisan, by the way. It's Ted Cruz and Cory Booker are working on this, right? Like,
what a pair!
Yeah. I'm just, again, not political, but I'm just telling you who's working on this.
What a pair, though. Like, you couldn't imagine that 5 years ago.
Exactly, and they're close. They really are. Like, it's close. In this Tennessee situation, quite candidly, may be the thing that gets this thing across the finish line, because it got completely out of control this weekend. And then the administration signs off on it. It gets codified into law. And then, everybody's on the same page. Now, will people still cheat under the table? Sure. But at least it's not
time in college athletics.
Yeah, but it's not going to be totally open. And I would say I think this will happen. Now, it's going to be bumpy to get there. But I really hope we are in the throes of this last part of the wild, wild west, because everybody's sick of it now. Like, I haven't talked to one person in college
Everybody's
athletics
pissed off.
Everybody's mad. Everybody's mad at everybody. Because the problem is now, and you think this is just a basketball thing. No. Because what is happening now is because of the numbers that got totally inflated by basketball, and they are real.
Give us a week for football to just blow up.
And that starts on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So the football portal has 10 days starting on the 16th, and then the same thing is going to happen. There's going to be a rush. The reason why this is happening all right now is these collectors are trying to unload money that they have before they get taken out of the equation by this settlement and maybe a law that prevents collectives from supporting NIL. And so it's all happening all at the same time, which has created this market inflush of cash. The bubble has just gone completely out of control, and you've got players like the backup point guard from BYU making $2 million to go to Virginia. I mean, that's what's happening right now. And so that's where we're at. Like, it is super stressful, but now football sees what basketball's making and go, where's mine? And I 100% believe that's happening with the Tennessee kid. So if you didn't see it, Nico Lava, whatever his name is, held out on Friday, and he wanted an increase to like $4.5 million in order to play next year. He was making $2 million, by the way, not he was underpaid. But he saw what some of his contemporaries were making in the basketball portal and said, I want to be the richest person on campus. Well, Tennessee told him to go fly a kite, and we'll see where he ends up. Somebody will probably pay him, but the same thing's going to happen in football over the next week. And so it's like, hold on, everybody. We're not through this yet. And it's not a good space right now. It's just not. Like, it's not. Nobody's having a good time. And it's creating a lot of political animosity between all sorts of parties.
The football and basketball thing across the country is becoming a thing too, because you're gonna have. I heard about a Big 12 school this weekend. I'm not going to name it because again, it's not like firsthand reporting I'm doing on this. But I heard
none of this is really like completely.
Yeah, but I did hear of. This is from another beat writer who I know about a school that this person was covering, where basically the football staff watched and was like, "Holy shit."
Yeah.
What you're talking about, and they're just like, and they got mad, and it became a whole thing, like on and I understand everybody's side. That's the thing, like when you break all this stuff down individually, I understand the basketball, like wanting to keep your good, like playing top and form, like he's really good.
He's really, and like on Iowa State side, what happens if you would have lost Joshua Jefferson, Taman Lipsey, and Milan Momcilovic?
Yeah,
like it wasn't a guarantee.
What is J.R. Blount and T.J. Like, what are those guys supposed to do? Okay, guys, well,
yep, thanks for playing.
Appreciate it. Like, you can't just let him walk. But then, like, like the Tennessee quarterback, he's like, well, there's not 100,000 people going to watch that basketball team.
Absolutely, and he's right.
Like, I'm more valuable to the university than those guys. Like, right? Like, so, and you have agents involved. And then I understand why these administrators are just wanting to rein in everybody because
it's not like you can just find $25 million. By the way, I think that's just like, well, pay them. It's like, well,
it doesn't help that the tariffs and the stock market, right? Like a lot of these rich people across the country have taken a hit right now as well. So it throws a wrench into some of these aspects as well. So yeah, it's been a really crazy 14 days.
It's been really
maybe the craziest we've seen ever in our lifetime behind the scennes.
I have never been more stressed out in my life than as of this second. Like it's been hard. It's like really hard. So I appreciate everyone for like sticking with us and all the good support we've had. But man, this is not sustainable. Whatever this is not going to work. And I'm glad there's somebody trying to solve this. And it's just creating all these divides across spectrums. And I feel for the fans. I really do. Like I'm tired of asking you all for more. But the problem is our coaches are asking for more because their players are asking for more. And so what do? Like, where does it stop? And, if we can get to May 1, then we'll still have to fundraise, by the way. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. We made some commitments, and now we got to fundraise for them. So, I mean, it's just part of it. But I, more than anything, like I've told you, and you know this, C-Dub, I want Iowa State, if we can just get through these next bumpy couple of months and find some degree of guardrails, which I do think are coming, this is the most stressful time for Iowa State athletics in a long time. But if we make it through the other side, I think it's going to be okay.
Well, I do too, but then the idea has to find a way to max out as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you have to be able to do that across the country too, because if not, and who knows what, and we'll get into this Tennessee thing here in a minute.
Max out being get in that salary cap max.
Yeah,
we're gonna. It's not a salary cap, but it's $21 million this year.
I just think you're gonna have, if you're not doing it, you're gonna have a really hard time keeping coaches, because like and then it becomes like which athletic departments are favoring basketball, right? Like think of your Kansas right now. Like you have this upstart football program. You're building a new stadium. Yeah. Like what do you like?
Think for Iowa State.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be all like we're right there. And honestly, guys, like at some point,
I'm just saying these big basketball schools though, where football, like what if you're Duke? Like in let's just say Duke is it's the best example I can think of. Duke is maxing out at $20 million a year. Mm-hmm. How much does Duke give their football program compared to basketball? Like their fans care more about basketball. Like it's not even close. Like my point is, why would any good football coach ever go there if Duke's basketball is getting $15 million compared to $5 million for the football? That's just a crazy example. But all these decisions are going to impact things going forward. And that's why I say you have to find a way to maximize all of this.
And honestly,
this is what facilities were 20 years ago. That's what the NIL thing is now.
And it's just going to be hard. And honestly, guys, we're not, as of right now, I would say it's not going to be close to maxing out. And that's something that has to be fixed going forward. It just has to. And obviously everyone's doing all they can.
It's fast. I give everybody a little bit of a break for the first year and a half or so. And then but that's why I say you get past May 1 or whatever the date is, and then the attention has to turn into that.
Yeah, and that's where it's like now, my challenge I'm part of it is to find more creative ways to generate revenue then, if that's the case. And I looked it up this morning. Story County in Iowa, C-Dub, generated $235 million in tourism dollars last year. Okay, that's up from $110 million during 2020. What happened in 2020?
COVID.
What didn't happen during COVID? Correct. That's
Iowa State football is the number one tourism draw in all of Central Iowa.
Not even close. That was a $140 million impact just based on that number. Now, obviously, there's other stuff in Ames. I get it. But like the investment, whether it's from the university, from the state, I don't care, the hotels, I mean, you got to find ways to get to the max. Because if Iowa State falls behind and is non-competitive in basketball and football, you're going to lose way more than the couple million difference that it would be to get to the max.
I would make the argument, too, that what's the number one source of marketing for Iowa State University? Sports.
And I understand, and you had a great discussion on Two Guys on Thursday, like, I don't think there should be a tax necessarily on the general population, but at the same time, the powers that be have to understand that this is really close to the cliff here. Like, we are really close to the cliff, and if you fall off the cliff, ask Oregon State and Washington State what can happen and what that means for the whole area. Look at their attendance this year, by the way. Just go look at it.
Completely tanked.
Yeah. And they lost all their coaches, and now, they would have had a hard time anyway. It wasn't their doing. But literally, Iowa State and the state of Iowa, in a lot of contexts, the businesses around Iowa can help here, like by investing in Iowa State in some capacity in athletics. I know I don't want to tax the students more. I had a bunch of student fees or all these things, but at the same time, there is a revenue problem with Iowa State right now, and Iowa's facing a similar problem, although they're getting $35 million more in TV dollars, so it's not as great of impact on them. But, that's where we're at, and it's a dollars and cents game, and Iowa State just needs more dollars and cents right now.
That's pretty heavy stuff.
No, I know.
I still like the optimistic part of me, and this is why I just say, like, get past, and then you try and work, because I don't think everybody in the Big 12 is going to be maxed out like on day one. I do think they will be by year 5.
Oh, no doubt.
You can't be, so. And listen, like, that's why Sci-Town is being built. That's what, they've been planning for this. Now you have to put it into motion, and let's see how the next few years go.
Yeah, and I would say, and sooner the better with finding some things. The problem is it can go, and we were almost there. Like, it got really close last week. If you have one domino fall, the rest could start falling. And it's like, so just keep surviving one day at a time here.
And this is why, listen, you work with the players more, and that I'm just really thankful that Matt and TJ are still here.
Oh my gosh.
Because these guys are all taking less to play for those guys. Like, every single one of them could have tested the portal and gone out there and got more money.
Still can, but
yeah, right. Like, so, but when I say, like, get to as max out as you can, it's because of great coaches, and everybody's super loyal until all of a sudden they realize it's hopeless. And I don't think Iowa State's going to get to that point. I'm not saying that, but, like, for me, I'm really glad Rocco Beck is still the quarterback. Matt Campbell would have gone to the Bengals. I don't know if he would be, right? Like, does that make sense? So it's like, find a reason. Like, I think that'll be more important. These guys already have a lot of money. They're all getting paid a lot. They got to know that they have a chance to compete at the highest level. And the great thing is, with this new Big 12, it's just a different deal. And I'm talking football, more basketball. Basketball's a tougher situation, I think, because of the league has just invested more in basketball over the years, and they've won more at a higher level. But, like, with football, No, Iowa State's not going to be dollar for dollar like top half of the league probably, but they could be close enough. And if Matt and his staff are still here doing their thing, they could be in the top 4 every year. Like I truly believe that. So like that's where I bring this thing back to a very big positive, because the way this league is shaped. But what I don't want to ever be is getting the phone call that and Matt could leave, right? Like he gets offers every year. Maybe he changes his mind at some point and he's just like, hey, I'm going to go be a GM in the NFL, and nobody could blame him. But what I don't want to get is the call. It's like, well, we just don't think we can win here.
You've got to give him, you can't give him reasons to leave at this point. Like give him every reason to think. And that's where I'm like, man, we got to keep grinding. I mean, there's so much growth Iowa State has had. And it's directly related to really good hires by Jamie with those coaches and everything else Jamie has done. But as we've seen with other parties, like if you lose your coach, the whole thing can get out of control no matter how good your culture is athletically. The coaches are still a huge deal. And, look at how good this team's recruiting right now on the football front. Like they're
killing it.
They're doing a great job.
They own Nebraska.
But that will change quickly again, and that's where it is an investment, and it costs money. But if we can just get through this, and literally the stat came out this week. What was it? That Iowa State led the entire Big 12 in winning percentage between football, men's basketball, and women's basketball, which is really cool. Clearly, Iowa State's been able to do great in this era, but it's because we've been able to get to a minimum threshold to keep the coaches here. If they don't feel like they can compete because Iowa State's at 60% of everybody else, I mean, it's going to be hard to keep them here, and that's where I'm kind of still stressed out. I'm like, man, I want to give every reason for TJ Matt to stay.
Yeah, I just don't think it can be all on the fans.
It can't be.
Got to be creative, like from within, and again, like to their credit, Jamie has been planning the Sighttown thing for this very reason for a long. It's just got to get done, right?
And they bumped up season ticket prices, and they bumped up donations left. We're trying here.
It is not, and this lawsuit thing happened fast. Like there's just to just snap your fingers and be there is not. That was never my expectation, at least at Iowa State, because I know the inner workings well enough. It's just. Got to get there though.
And the other thing that has been difficult is you'll have ADs talk to themselves of, oh, we're going to spend this, and then they go behind the back and do something completely different.
Yeah.
And so it's just really hard to know who to trust here. But 100% C-Dub, your mark. They are really going to try and police this whole cap situation. They are.
So let me give you an example here. When it comes to that. Let's say Jada Williams is a great example because she's got 700,000 Instagram followers. Comes to Iowa State. I don't know what she's getting paid. None of my business.
Yep.
Whatever she's getting paid. Okay.
Which, by the way, one reason why we don't publicize what certain players are making.
Because fans are jerks.
Well, that. And when other players find out, it's just, I mean, honestly, like that's strategically one of the reasons. I thought it was
to keep like that kid from the Hawkins kid at Kansas State just got harassed about it every place he went, and it was just mean.
Yeah.
Like that guy's just maximizing his, I don't know why we have to be rude about it.
The kid, yeah. But anyway, with Jada Williams.
Okay. So let's say the year is 2026. Jada Williams is a senior, and Iowa State is maxed out at its $20.5 million. And Jada Williams has a online agent as an influencer who can get her $50,000 from Subway to do an ad on her Instagram. Does that count against the cap?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't. And that's the next.
Now, what if like whatever the We Will Collective is at that point? What if Subway calls and says, I want to do a Jada Williams ad? Does that count against the cap?
No. And so what's going to happen is these collectives are mostly going to morph into marketing agencies, essentially. So they will switch from just soliciting donors directly and fans to working with companies to get legit NIL. And that's quite honestly where I've been the last week, is trying to form some of those relationships with those companies, if that's the way it goes. But yet, so yes, any deal above $600 with a third party will have to be approved by this clearinghouse that's being formed by these 4 power conferences.
So that's if the marketing agency with the school does it, but if they do it on their own, they can get whatever they want.
Yeah, they can do whatever. They can still do whatever they want, but it still has to be approved by the clearinghouse.
See, I don't like that. I understand why. I just like, if she can just go and do it on her own, what is it that this guy in Washington, D.C., why the hell does he have any say?
Because the reason is because you'll have some boosters disguised
the Rhett
as...
Bomar situation.
Yeah, you'll have boosters disguised as companies.
Yeah, I know. I get it, but
so that you're
it's still kind of anti-American, isn't it?
It is. I understand that. But also, that if that's the case, then we have not done anything to fix it.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm being skeptical here, because I'm trying to poke holes in it. Yeah,
I totally agree. Like, that's going to be the challenge, is who is actually going to legislate this, and how hard, who will say no? Like, nope, that's not legit.
So if you're like a golfer and you relatively have no name, image, and likeness value, but you could throw, like my daughter, for instance, takes piano lessons on Zoom from a young lady who goes to school at Simpson, and she takes them on Zoom, and then I pay her. If the Iowa State golfer wants to give lessons on the side, does that go through a clearinghouse?
If it's above $600, yes. Any income,
but that wouldn't count against the school.
No.
Okay, good. That's all I really care about. Like, they should be able to.
Oh, and they still will.
Yeah.
And so, anything, they can still do all their, like, Audie Crooks will still do the fairway stuff, which is awesome. Fairway's been a great help for Audie and for us. And that will be separate still. And the amount she's getting would definitely be fair market value, because it's not outlandish. The problem is, if Fairway was going to give Audie Crooks $1 million, that's probably not fair market value for Central Iowa. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Although Caitlin Clark is getting closer to that with Hy-Vee.
Will these clearinghouse people be like the compliance people of the 90s?
Yes.
Where they're like located on campus and stuff?
I again, this is where nobody knows. Like, that's
an unfair question. I'm getting pretty deep into the weeds.
It's the similar thought, but it's going to be separate of the NCAA, and they will have actual authority to enforce this, because the Power 4 commissioners all signed off on it. This is one thing where the Power 4 commissioners are all in on helping here, because they realize that it's going the wrong way. So is it optimistic?
Already out of the lead, 2 holes in. Unbelievable.
Oh, Rory.
Sorry. I know that none of you are watching this live with us.
Who could have seen that coming? We just talked about it. He'll be back. It'll be dramatic. But no, I think that's the crux of it all, and this is all lining up at like a horrible time, because it's all coming together exactly. The fact that the settlement and the portal for both basketball and football are all open at the same time has just created this mass chaos in a world that already has a lot of chaos.
Well, and then it's just all these people are just fighting over the same money, essentially, and it's just tough. And
then you have egos involved, like, oh, am I not more important than that person? And it's like, well, it's like, I wish we had unlimited funds. So that's where I keep telling you all, like, still invest, and we will put it to good use. I promise you. And we've got, we're just trying to keep Iowa State afloat. We will. We're just trying to keep Iowa State afloat until some adults actually step in and fix this stuff.
And by adults, you mean Ted Cruz and Cory
Booker.
Great. That makes me feel a lot better about the situation.
You're welcome, everybody.
Jesus.
Thank you for that. I needed to get. I've been wanting to just get that all out there. I mean. And there's the people at Iowa State are all doing their best. They really are.
I'm not upset with anyone. I'm upset with decisions that were made 40 years ago. Yeah. That's my thing with this Tennessee thing. All right, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Thank our buddy Colin Newell. It is tax day coming up this week, and I would like to encourage you to all save some money while you're paying attention to your finances with my guy Colin Newell with Farm Bureau Financial Services. Does all of my home, auto, life, all that good stuff. Does the same with Bloom. Former Cyclone. We absolutely love him. Saw our buddy Chappie from Andrew Chaplin Real Estate over at Hunziker yesterday over at the old Welch Avenue station prior to the Size House of Trivia. Chappie said he had a couple of new people just last week reach out to him through Cyclone Fanatic. You want to advertise somewhere where your dollars stretch a long way, you could talk to Chappie. He's kicking ass through all of our leads that we've given him. Big time.
Awesome.
Shout out to him. Also, I had a wonderful lunch with our friend Michelle over at the Ivy College of Business last week. It was nice to see her. We're going to go and have dine with Dean Spalding coming up here.
Yeah, how about that?
In like a week and a half. Yeah, very cool. Love our friends at the Ivy College of Business at Iowa State. And, of course, go out and pick up a six-pack of Ames Lager. You're doing your part to cash in for the We Will Collective when you buy the Ames Lager.
It helps in multiple ways. It helps you from
there you go.
relaxation standpoint and the collective.
The
By the way, we finished dead in the middle of Size House, which I was okay with.
We're just very average.
Yeah, I mean, mediocre. That's us.
At best.
At best. Although, I got to give your wife a little bit of grief here.
Oh. Well,
I know she doesn't listen to the pod. I'm saying this respectfully to Dr. Ashley. There was a category on animals.
It was farm animals.
Farm animals. Okay, not small animals. That's a little bit different.
If it was small animals, she's elite.
She would have been elite at it. But
she got 7 of 10. Like, she'd been drinking for like 4 hours. Yeah. Like, I don't know what you expected.
Yeah. I just had to give her a little trouble for that.
I love the night Size House. They all the organization it takes to pull that off is incredible with like the sheets and everything that it's really well done. I feel so stupid at that event though every year because it's just like I am not a trivia buff. I won't ever pretend to be one. I don't watch many movies. I certainly don't watch TV shows from the 70s. I do feel like their questions are getting better though. Like I remember the first year I did that. I'm like, what the hell? Like I thought it was like a Cyclone trivia night I was going to.
Yeah.
I do feel like that, or I'm just getting older and I'm more well-rounded than I was when I was 30.
Yeah.
But what a fun night. Thanks to everybody who came over and said hello. We appreciate all you guys. We have
it was fun.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I got all the ones correct about Cyclone spelling.
So, you did. We just gave Bloom the sheet.
Thank you. Just give me the sheet.
The Tennessee quarterback situation.
I would not have been able to spell his name if he was on there, though.
I'm just going to call him Nico.
Yeah. Nico, okay.
So, here's what I thought was interesting. Real quick, what happened over the weekend for those of you who haven't kept up on this. Tennessee's quarterback, as Bloom alluded to in the first segment, said, I need more money. And we think it was because of what basketball players were getting paid on campus. And he's like, well, I need this or I'm walking. And he didn't show up to spring ball, I guess.
Yeah, their final practice. Yeah.
Josh Heupel just was like, okay, get the hell out of here. And they let him go. So what I found really interesting about this is at least in the media has, in my opinion, very skewed pro player over the last 5 years or so. And I don't blame them. I don't think a lot of people have sympathy for the suits in college athletics because they're the ones that have screwed this up over the last 40 years or so.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, not every individual. Clearly, there's but in general, it's the Rose Bowl guys. It's the
there's
people that I always
billions of dollars for off the athletes.
Yeah, borderline exploitation. It depends on who you talk to. There are certainly the folks who have valid arguments on the other side. I'm just calling it like I see it in the media. I think the media has been very, very pro player over the years. Probably to an unbalanced proportion, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Okay? This story comes out, and I bet you 80% pro coach, good, that's the right move to make to kick him off. And I thought it was a really interesting swing. And I don't know why it happened. I can take some stabs. I think everybody's tired of this. I think that that's the biggest thing. I think everybody's just fatigued by
everything.
Yeah.
But
I told this I was texting with Hassel yesterday. I'm like, it's going to take a handful of coaches to make that move to really because at some point you just have to draw a line, right? Like with anything in life, if it's your, if Theo, is pressing your buttons on a Sunday afternoon, you've given him 1, 2, 3 strikes. At some point, Dad's going to be like, hey, knock it off, right?
Yep.
You have to draw a line somewhere to stop something from escalating.
Can't keep enabling people.
And there are no rules right? Like, of course, Nico could ask for this. There's no rules to anything. And I don't know. I thought it was really interesting that yesterday the court of public opinion that has been very pro player for the last 5 to 10 years was anti-player in this sense. And it was like, bam, like that. What the hell just happened?
And now
Did you see that? Like,
yeah,
do you agree
absolutely.
with my assessment?
100%. Now the question is, will somebody still pick him up, and at what price? Because if he ends up getting way less than the $2 million he was going to make this year from Tennessee, then that's a victory for the college football establishment. Honestly, for Ted Cruz. But that's what it's going to take, stuff like that, because right now everybody that goes in the portal is winning for the most part. I mean, or trying to negotiate is winning, because you'll win either through a renegotiation with your current school, or if you do leave, you'll find better money somewhere else. I mean, you guys would be amazed at some of the money that's being made by Iowa State players that left, and they didn't even leave for money, but they still got the money.
They're still getting paid more.
Both of the guys at Pittsburgh are going to make $1 million plus next year. Think about that, okay? And you can do the math. So, yes, that was a positive, and I think it got enough attention because it's a big school. The humorous part to me, C-Dub, is Tennessee is the reason we're in this situation.
Oh, yeah, great point. I hadn't thought about that.
Because they had a deal with the same quarterback where they got penalized by the NCAA because they tampered with this high school kid and promised him $8 million through their collective over 4 years. 2 years ago, the NCAA said that is not allowed. The state of Tennessee sued the NCAA and won. So Tennessee's the reason why we're in this mess to begin with. So it is humorous to me that they're the ones who said, "Oh, this is too much," after they started it all. Yeah. But I agree with them that the line had to be drawn somewhere, because the hope is not only will this kid see it, but then everybody else, all the other kids see it too, and say, "Man, it's not a guarantee that if I start wanting to renegotiate, the school might tell me to fly a kite, and then I'm hosed." Because a lot of these players are doing very well already. And so it's a very tenuous move. Like, I think people are kind of sick of it now, and people are tapped out also, was this part of it. And so
he's been a good player, but he's not
great.
He's not like Shadir Sanders or like this can't miss talent that's like you're going to be your top 5 pick, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I mean,
okay. He's a good player, but he's not.
Player. The question now I have is, will somebody pay him? Okay. And then the second part is, what does Tennessee do? They're
going to go and hit the market for Big 12 and ACC quarterbacks.
Right? And so does that help the situation? Like, they can be mad at the kid, "Oh, this system is terrible." And yet they're going to go potentially to Ames when we're hope not. Again, I'm not worried about it.
They could if they wanted
to.
You got your Rocco hat on.
My Rocco hat on today. But there's that's possible still. And so are they helping the system anymore then? Everyone's going to applaud Tennessee and Josh Heupel. He's just going to turn around and do the same thing. So, again, I'm glad it happened because it got some national attention. And I think the timing was awesome because, like I said, all this is happening all at once with the congressional bill that's being worked on right now, too. And so hopefully, and these Congress people read the news and they know what's going on. Hopefully this is the thing that pushes the regulations forward, because right now everyone's like, "Oh, we don't want to hurt anybody yet." But I just thought it was funny. It was Tennessee of all schools, because they're the ones, based on the same kid, that got us into this whole mess to begin with.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that part. It blew my mind when I saw the news.
The sentiment is changing, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, you can only jerk people around so often, and I think we're there.
What sucks is that that kid's going to be vilified.
Yep.
And maybe he deserves. I don't know him. I don't know.
Yeah, and the dad was being a little bit arrogant on the internet.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I'm not.
No, I know, but
I guess my point is, again, had they just been smarter 40 years ago, nobody would be in this situation. But have I told you the story? The comp I have for this, and I hope this resonates with some of our small town listeners, is when we were at KMA Radio, and that's my home back there. I might live in central Iowa. My home is southwest Iowa.
For sure.
And I've seen this with so many schools in towns, and it's heartbreaking to watch them like fight to keep their school district. And I was always told when we were doing some news back there and stuff, when I would talk to these people at the state, like, it's always better if they just figure it out on their own and merge with another school district or whatever, because if not, the state is eventually going to come in and do something you don't want. And it's going to make it worse. Like, it's inevitable. You can't keep a school district open with 19 students, you know, in a high school. Like, you just can't. Doesn't make any sense. And I watched these school districts forever and ever fight and claw. Oh, we're not going to be with them. They're our rival. And like this, you know, like this, and they were stubborn and they kicked and they clawed, and it was heartbreaking because it's the identity of their town that is being ripped away. And then the state finally came in and did it and set up a deal. So now their third graders have to bus 30 minutes in this terrible situation because the state doesn't know any better. They don't care. They truly don't care about the rural part of the state. I truly believe that. And the comp I'm making here is that if college athletics just would have given a little bit in 1995 and then given a little bit, and they would come back to me and they're going to say, well, we did. You know, we gave them the cost of attendance and the, you know, all that shit. It wasn't enough, and they knew it wasn't enough. They knew they were still getting a great deal. If they wouldn't have been so selfish in the 90s and the early 2000s, nobody would be in this spot that they're in right now. And that's where it's just like this Nico kid, like, yeah, and don't be a jerk on Twitter, Dad, like, or whatever's going on. But it's kind of like he's a bit of a scapegoat here too. Like, he's
a symptom of the disease here.
He is not the problem.
He's not the problem.
He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And one could make an argument that we had a guy on campus last week do the same thing. Now, it wasn't as extreme, but it just didn't get the play. Like, this is happening all over the country, is my point. And this guy, this Heupel, finally was like, no, and it was highly publicized, and it's maybe a turning point.
I hope so. I hope so, because I that's a great point, and I love the comp. I think that's a really good analogy of where we're going. And what I would also say on that same light is the administrators at all levels also need to realize you're not fighting for the good old days.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, you're fighting for the future of the sport here. Like, I think of it like, I don't like this either, but I want my kids to enjoy college athletics in the state of Iowa. And I'm not going to just put my head in the sand because I don't like it when it's going to ruin opportunities for a lot of future Iowans, by the way. I mean, that's kind of where I'm looking at it. It's like, yes, do I like the change? No, but figure out how to work your way within the change and not just say, oh, this is terrible and be against it.
And the last point I would make on that, to piggyback that, Brent, is I'm not all anti-suits here. I just want to be I would much rather these people who have been in college athletics for the last 30 years figuring out a way to do this than Cory Booker and Ted Cruz.
Absolutely.
Like, but the people, it was really, for the most part, the people who were the generation before them, not Greg Sankey,
Jim Delaney.
Delaney. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Those are the people who really are to blame for this. And this, right? Like,
and the presidents of that era. Yep.
Yes.
They enabled it, the cart to get way out of the barn.
The Lost Dodds, like that era of administrator is really what we're talking about here.
That's it. And now it's gotten away from everybody, and I don't know if, and this is the problem, C-Dub, we are at the point where the commissioners now can't save it. They need somebody else to save it. And that's why I like the comp of, it's no longer in the town's hands.
Yeah.
And now you're at the mercy of either the courts or Congress.
You're at the mercy of the Supreme Court. Ted Cruz and Cory Booker. Congratulations.
And potentially President Trump, quite honestly.
Congratulations. You're letting these people who know nothing about what you do on a daily basis and the benefits for these young people and how it affects your towns and your local economies, now you don't have a say in that. Congratulations.
And what's going to happen to the towns, a.k.a. your university, as a result? We are now, honestly, guys, a lot of the future of Iowa State now is in the hands of the people we just mentioned. Well, but hey, the sun is out. Golf is on TV. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Chris, I think ultimately,
Rory's back in the lead, by the way.
I think Iowa State's going to be, we're going to be okay, but it's just, it's going to take a change of thought.
Yeah.
And just adapting with the times a little bit.
That's the thing. This is probably coming off as negative. Brent and I are venting because it's been a long 14 days.
Yeah. So I don't mean to be a...
Yeah. I do think this all ends up okay for Iowa State. It has been, to echo what you said, just the last 14 days have been really trying for everyone, and we're kind of just, we have a front row seat, but we can't really do anything about it, nor should we. Like, we're not, I don't claim to have a lot of great ideas. Well, I just know that it's going to have to be outside the box thinking. You evolve or you die, never more than this moment.
And I am very pro transparency and sharing with the fans. I think the only way we're all going to get through this is if you guys know what's going on. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes as in all of sports. So I worked in the NBA for a little bit too. It's always like, oh well, the fans aren't smart enough to understand. No, you guys are. Like, I want you guys to know exactly what's going on because it's going to take all of Iowans to figure this out.
Especially at a place like here.
Yeah.
Because, like the old saying, we're not Iowa Staters because it's easy. We're Iowa Staters because it's awesome. That there's such an ownership that Iowa State fans have over this place, and that's what makes it special. And you can't take that for granted.
You got it. And that's why Iowa State,
because we just don't have an abundance of the Walmart fans. Like, we just don't. Like, so you've got to take care of the ones that are so passionate about it that have kept you up this long. And
thank goodness for all of you for keeping Iowa State where Iowa State is right now, because there's been times similar, during the Big 12 missile crisis. I would say right now, C-Dub, we're not maybe to that era of potential ramifications for Iowa State athletics. That got down to like hours.
Man, yeah, was like you're staring at the red button.
But this is similar in that when that domino goes, the whole thing could unravel, and that's where. And it wasn't just Joshua Jefferson last week. It was, again, a symptom of the disease.
Well, that's why I tried to make it clear on Sunday, and I didn't know what was going to happen at that point. I had a pretty good feeling he would stay. I wasn't upset with Joshua. I was just like, this is what it is. Like, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But and good on them.
Yeah.
Good on Otts and everybody at Iowa State and the administration and whatever. They dealt with it and kept one of the best players in the country in Ames.
Yeah.
Like, great. Now, what happens is a domino to that? And, like, I don't know. But what are you supposed to do? Just let him walk?
I think that's where everyone's over the next 10 days is going to have similar conversations on every.
It's going on campus. Everywhere.
Every single campus.
I referenced it on two guys last Monday. There's a program I know of where I have some very deep connections, and like they were having a hell of a weekend last weekend, and none of it ever hit the press.
Yeah,
but it was the same stuff. Like everywhere, this was happening.
Yep.
And the fear within football, not just at Iowa State, but across the whole country, is the next week, spring ball gets out, everybody's going to be doing the same thing.
You got it.
The only thing is with football that you have so many more scholarships. Basketball, it's just such a heightened deal on like two guys.
Well, and just look
it makes their value. It's a supply and a demand thing. There's just not many, basketball players who can truly go into a big time program and make an impact.
And also in basketball, you can turn around a lot quicker. And so you've got those schools that have struggled that want to, get it back together, new coaches who are really throwing money at it, and plus the Big East situation, which doesn't help the cause. So, yeah, a lot of factors in basketball make that market extra dicey. But, wake me up when May 1 happens, and we'll go have a Cody Road.
We'll get there, baby.
Okay, let's go.
But
thank you, Walt. Again, I don't mean to, throw it all out there, but I'm a big fan of sharing what's going on. Like, I think that's the only way we're going to get through this is if you guys know what's happening. And I'm honored to thank you to Fanatic, by the way, for all you guys do to get our message out there, because without you all, none of this gets out there. And Iowa State athletics isn't the same either, by the way. So
we'll get there, baby.
Yeah.
Next 20 years will be, what's that Tim McGraw song? In my next 30 years. I remember I used to listen to that song. I'm like, God, that's really depressing when I'm 30. And then and now it's like, oh, wait a minute. Huh.
I think I aged 30 years in the last 2 weeks, but
man, I had an aging moment this week. I'm watching that show Landman. Have you seen that?
I haven't yet, but Thornton? I want to.
And the bikini, the whipped cream bikini girl from Varsity Blues.
I'm aware.
she's like a cougar, like a 50, 60-year-old mom in Landman. I don't know how old she is, but it was like, wait a minute, I've seen her before.
What?
I thought she was a junior in high school.
Was it Jonathan Moxon?
Yeah, I thought she was the cheerleading gal. Anyways.
Hey, Brooke Burke still looked the same at the Welch Avenue station.
She did.
That's good.
God bless her.
Yeah, God bless her. Never change.
God bless our friends at Whiffle's Hybrids. Whiffle's
Coming,
Hybrids
planning-
Big
planning
12
season.
segment.
Planning season.
It is planning season. Boys are out.
Yes.
And gals. We got some
Yeah,
gals at farm
absolutely.
as well. I don't have a lot of Big 12 nuggets to pick off the bone other than, boy, it seems like our guy Jerome Tang's having a rough go
Whew.
over there. Is he got anybody or is he just losing players?
I haven't seen anybody.
I saw that Hausen left.
I would encourage you all, because I know everyone's like, oh man, how's Iowa State going to replace?
Iowa State's doing pretty well in the portal.
Look at all
things
the rosters
considered.
right now. I mean, again, this isn't a defending Iowa State here. I mean, but honestly, like Iowa State's numbers, there was one or maybe two. Look at Kansas. Kansas is like completely wide open. K-State has nobody left. Tech just lost Williams, and then like I've talked about. By the way, I think Uzan's going to go to the NBA. So Houston's going to have some issues. Now they're bringing in good players, but you look, and everybody's getting younger next year too. Just go through the rosters, and there was a really good thread on the message board this week of like, there's a reason why Iowa State's still being picked in the top 10, top 15 in a lot of places, because their remaining people are going to be better than 95% of the country next year. And it's just really hard right now because we're losing that COVID year. And so you're getting younger, you're aging a lot of this workforce out, and therefore the value is different for the remaining players. That's what's driving up the market too, along with the other stuff. So, but I think
So
Iowa
like
State,
these guys, let me ask you this, BYU, it's been chronicled like
Yes.
they're paying the guy like $7 million or whatever.
Yep.
So
Nike is for that one, but anyway, that's another.
does he take a pay cut as a sophomore when it's all in house?
Well, this is going to be the really interesting part. So you're talking about AJ DeBansa, who's a number one recruit in the country. He'll be interesting because he'll probably go to the NBA and it won't be a story anyway.
Yeah, let's say he does.
But where he could, and let's say Cooper Flagg in this situation, both AJ DeBansa and Cooper Flagg this year have legit fair market value from a Nike, from a shoe company, from a big brand in the millions of dollars.
Yeah, you go make $15 million if you're Cooper Flagg.
And I think that's legit. Now, what wouldn't be legit if it's the and this is where it's going to be really hard because there's a lot of monster companies in BYU. If it's a BYU alum that owns a company that signs a NIL deal, is that fair market value? If it's a big company. Like, good example here, C-Dub. If Nike signs the Oregon quarterback to a $5 million deal, is that fair market value? I mean, Nike has the money and they spend that amount of money on endorsements. So from that standpoint, yes. However, is it because the quarterbacks at Oregon?
We gotta turn this clearinghouse into like a reality show. They're on Netflix, and they're breaking down the analytics.
It's like,
and we can be the judge on like if it's real or not.
Yeah, maybe you do a voting public. No, it's going to be like the Gladiator movie. You see that one? I know you don't like a lot of movies.
I would love to know though, and the schools will fight. The schools and people in your spot, I'm guessing, in the next 10 years are going to fight letting fans know where the money is being spent. I would guess, just knowing how college sports
it
works.
opens up a Pandora's box of questions that can be difficult. Yeah.
If I'm a fan though, I mean, part of being a fan for me of the Atlanta Braves is knowing how we're spending our money.
I get it.
Like that's part of the deal.
And that's why I like sharing too, because I think it's,
this would be like what recruiting was in its heyday. I mean, I think that fans, if they are buying season tickets and they're funding all this, should know, okay, the football program, easy number, $10 million.
Yep.
I don't think they should know like player by player.
Okay.
That seems extreme to me. I don't think I have any right to know like that to me, whatever. But like, okay, here's a pie graph. This is what's going to the offensive line. This is what's going, right? Like,
yeah.
A little transparency could go along, and then let these fans like And it's part of the. I don't know. Like,
but on that
again,
same
like
point,
I don't think that like Audie Crook's salary should be posted on the school website. I don't think that's fair for the young people because they are still young people who already have enough pressure. Like we got to find somewhere in the middle with these schools.
Yeah, but I would argue. I mean, what makes the interest so great in the NFL offseason and the NBA offseason is those numbers.
Totally.
And, how do you? So there's a world where this information could actually encourage growth in the sport.
Totally agree with you.
And that's just like that's where I can encourage the current administrators. Like, this is not the 90s anymore.
Yeah.
Like, embrace all this stuff. The fact that there is this much passion, and yes, we joke about the burners and all this stuff, but people care, which is great. You have to use that passion in some way, and information helps that. By you saying, oh, only I'm the keeper of all this information, that doesn't help. And yes, people take it too far, but regulate those people. Figure that out. Mm-hmm. I don't think hiding everything helps here. I don't.
It just leads to conspiracy theories and crap.
And that's like literally
which we saw last week with the Jefferson thing. Like, it just completely got out of control.
Yeah, and then the numbers were way wrong, and that actually causes more problems because now we're on the back and say, no, that's actually not correct.
Yeah,
but
and I don't know what the numbers are and stuff, but I do know that whole time, I thought he would stay at Iowa State the whole time, but I didn't really truly have any. It just felt like it from what I was hearing. If you would have gotten on Twitter last Saturday night, you would have thought Ames got hit by an earthquake.
Actually,
and it's just misinformation.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. But that's why I think the reason why the NFL is the most popular sport in America is because they monetize every single thing, including the free agency period, the schedule release, the draft. Everything is public. You have these salary gurus that are on ESPN doing all this stuff. I think college athletics could use some of that. I would be in favor of, honestly, C-Dub. You know what would be great TV to me is to get in the room with the TV execs to figure out how they figure out each game every weekend.
Oh,
I think that'd be like there's.
Fox should do their own reality show, like their draft.
This is where we draft for the games. I just think we've gotten so much siloed in college athletics because nobody has been able to touch the administrators and the commissioners for so long that they've lost touch with what is a fan really about here. And I think sharing information, being invested, like there's more than one way to do that other than money.
I also think that my final point on all this, I think we're a little isolated. We have been at Iowa State because Iowa State fans truly care about Iowa State.
Absolutely.
For the most part. And we haven't had all of these Johnny-come-latelys. And I think we're starting to get some now, but it's nothing like if you're an Alabama fan or, these national type programs. It's just like truly Iowa State fans for the most part. They do want the team to have a good graduation rate. Yeah. Like that stuff matters to them, where at most places it just isn't that big of a deal. But having said that, I think now all the money being involved, that's going to be less and less prominent. Like, sure, you can still send out the press release, but I don't think the fans are nearly as interested in that in 10 years as they have been in the past.
Well, and I had actually a good chat with somebody this week. They're like, when's the last time somebody got suspended for being academically ineligible? I was like,
that's a really good question.
I don't know. I don't remember one. Was it Everett? Remember the defensive back for the Liberty Bowl in 2017? Was it Everett Edwards?
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Is that it? That was 8 years ago. I mean, it used to happen. Remember, Jerome Tiller missed a whole year.
McKay and Prom when they had their little scat.
That wasn't academics.
It wasn't academics. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like, do we not? And guess what? The TV ratings for the Final Four as high as they've ever been.
I ain't here to play no school.
But that's just like things are still. It's still a monster of a business that you just got to get. I think we're in the throes of corralling it before this Nico thing is hopefully the thing that gets us to some sort of resolution. Because right now, if this is the norm, you're going to lose really good people in college athletics because people can't. It's out of control. It's completely out of control.
I'm going to go watch the race.
Okay. And go watch Rory's back up 3.
I'm going to have 2 TVs in my garage if you want to come watch them. Kids are outside.
Perfect. Have some fun today.
Well, I deserve it, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
All right. Oops, I played the wrong song. I accidentally hit sad piano. So that would have worked for today's show instead of the English theme song.
We're alive.
We are presented as always by Mechdyne. Thanks to everybody.
Yeah, seriously, thank you all.
Appreciate you guys. We will be back on Wednesday, and hopefully it's another quiet few days. That's the goal. And off season is almost fully here. We will do more spring football. Rob and Connor had a podcast late last week talking offense.
Just
we have a bunch of those
left.
coming up this week. He's Brent Blum. My name is Chris Williams. We will be back on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your work week.